In this video, I'm going to talk about scripting in GeoGebra. Scripting allows you to run code when an object is clicked or when an object is updated. And this allows you to really extend the functionality of GeoGebra. Now there's a whole lot of scripting commands that act a lot like the commands we've been looking at before. And if you want to find some of these commands or functions, we can use the Input Help menu, go to Scripting, and we see that there's a whole lot of different functions we can use. If you click on one of these, it'll show you what the arguments of the function are. So let's look at an example of how we might use this. So I'm just going to place a point A in the graphics view, it doesn't matter where. And if I right click on A and go to the object properties, there's a tab in the object properties menu called scripting. Now what this allows us to do is add some code that'll run either when the object is clicked, which is the onClick event, or when the object is updated, which is the onUpdate event. There's also a global JavaScript tab, but we won't worry about that for now. Now also notice that there's a menu down here where we can choose between using GeoGebra script or JavaScript. And although I'm a huge JavaScript fan, I'm going to stick with GeoGebra script because it's easy and consistent with how we've been using GeoGebra. So let's add some code to run when the point A is clicked. There's a function, a scripting function called setCoords, which sets the coordinates of a point. I want to set the coordinates of the point A, and I want the x-coordinate of the point A to change to whatever the x-coordinate of A is, but then I want to add 1 to it. And the y-coordinate, I want just to be the y-coordinate of A. Now, if I click out of this, we go back to our graphics view. Now, whenever I click A, let me open up my graphics view a little bit. If I click on A, maybe I'll close the object properties. If I click on A, notice that the x-coordinate of A jumps by 1. This is because I'm running code every time the point A is clicked. If I drag it, it acts as it normally would. But if I click on it, it'll bump the x-coordinate by 1. Now, let's also explore the onUpdate event. So I'm going to go back to the scripting tab in the object properties, and I'm going to open the onUpdate tab. What I'm going to do is use a function called setColor. And what setColor does is it takes an object to set the color of. So I want to change the color of A. And then the next 3 inputs to this function are the red, the amount of red you want, the amount of green you want, and the amount of blue that you want. So I want the amount of red to be whatever the x-coordinate of A is. We'll take 0 green, and then we'll do y of A for the amount of blue. So don't worry too much about the details of this, but essentially what we're saying is, as we update A, we're going to change the color of A based on its coordinates. So we'll close out of the object properties menu, and I'm going to start dragging A. So notice that as I drag A around, the color of A is changing as I update it. Now this is pretty cool. And if I click on A, we still have the other commands running when we click on it. Okay, so it's nice that we can run commands when we click on A or when we drag A, but a lot of times you might just want to have a button that you click and have that button do things. So there's a button tool from the toolbar, so I'm going to click the button tool. I'm going to click in the graphics view where I want the button. We can caption the button, so this is the text that'll be displayed. I'm just going to caption it bump. Now I'm going to use the same GeoGebra script that I used before, so setCoords of A, x of A plus 1, and y of A. I'll hit OK. If I go back to my move tool, anytime I click this button, it's going to run that script. Now this is really cool, so we can drag A around, and then anytime we want to bump the x-coordinate of A, I just click this button. Now this can be really useful, and we'll look at a few more examples in the next videos.